Welcome to Spoop Squad, the podcast that watches horror films that go flop in the night. I'm Jared.
I'm Hannah.
And I'm Nathan. Get spooped.
Fuck, if this is a thing from now on, then this is going to be terrible.
We're not introducing him anymore.
We're not,
I'm
yeah.
just gonna you didn't introduce me. I introduced myself.
So Nathan is officially off the show after this episode.
Yes.
It wouldn't be the first thing I've been kicked out of.
It wouldn't be, but it might be the last. Who knows? All right, so we watched a movie called C.O.R.N, Field of Screams, on Amazon Prime. This movie was made in 2021, so it's fairly new. It has a rating of 3.8 out of 10 on IMDb.
I didn't know it was that new.
Yeah.
Wait, it was
This
made
is-
when?
2021.
This
Okay.
year.
No, I wasn't listening when you were talking. That's why I had to clarify.
Yeah. Surprise. Nathan never listens whenever I'm saying anything.
What?
Wait, is this a COVID project?
It might be, I guess. I don't know.
It felt like it.
It really did. Yeah, because this budget estimated was $950,000.
Cut 3 zeros off.
Yeah. There was a couple good things that we'll get into, but $950,000 seems like a bit much.
Yeah.
I mean, especially because there's like no real top name people in this movie.
Excuse me.
I said no main. Like, okay, we might have like a C-lister, but we don't have any A-list talent here.
True.
I'm just saying, Doug. It's good. Doug, whose last name I forgot, who was on Trading Spaces.
Doug Funny.
It's Doug Wilson. And
Doug
if you were a
Wilson.
90s child ever staying home from school, which I was homeschooled. I was always home from school.
You always stayed home from school.
Or did you? I don't think that you can technically stay home from school if you're homeschooled.
I live at school.
You live at school.
Oh, like a med student.
That's why I messed up. There was no escape.
No escape at all.
No escape.
Locks on doors and everything.
Oh, that's abuse.
All right, well, Hannah, why don't you give us a synopsis?
All right, if I can say this word. Stranded in a rural area, 2 teens make friends with locals on Halloween, but soon run into a cult called C.O.R.N, Collective Order of Recreational Necrophilanthropists, that have chosen this area to perform human taxidermy. Can I just say, you don't perform taxidermy, you create taxidermy.
Oh, no, they were performing.
Taxidermy is an art form.
And
It's
Yes.
not a performance art piece.
No.
Taxidermy is a standalone art piece. You don't perform. You create, and then you hang and leave. I have taxidermy. Just, it ain't human. Don't come at me.
I mean, it's not human yet.
Yeah. Not yet. One day it will be.
Yeah, sometime soon, maybe.
Don't at me, PETA.
Who's PETA?
PETA?
PETA Griffin.
Yeah, it's fucking Peter Griffin.
PETA.
All right, one good thing. I'm gonna go first. So early on in the movie, we get Don, who is the stepfather in this movie, and Carrie and his sister Tia are in the car, and he is messing with the tire. The tire is flat or something. They're on some road, like a dirt road between 2 cornfields, and it's just what nightmares are made of, apparently. And Carrie and Tia are sitting in the car, and there's a point where Don, who is outside of the car, tries to do a jump scare. Like, he's not trying to do a jump scare in the movie, but like they wrote it to be a jump scare moment, and you clearly see him approaching the window.
And slowly reach in.
Yes. And then Carrie and Tia are startled from this jump scare moment. That was not a jump scare moment.
All I thought of was Stuart from Mad TV when he's like, I'm not scared, I'm startled. That's what this moment was.
Yes. I don't know. It's just, that's just one thing that stood out to me.
Yeah.
Because it was just so bad.
Yeah. It was bad.
Yeah.
All right. My one good thing was when the fake cop was arresting Simon, and he's digging through his pockets and he pulls out something that you cannot see in the moment. And Simon just yells, "I'm legal. It's under 4 inches."
That
I
was
mean,
such a good moment.
that's a white guy for you.
The weird
4
thing
inches is
is
average.
4.5 is average.
4 inches is average.
Okay, so clearly he's talking about a knife in this moment.
Yes, but
But the way that it's
the way that you don't see what the cop is grabbing for, you don't know what the context is. He's just frisking this skinny little dude that looks like Edward Cullen, and he's just pulling something out of his pocket, and he's like, "I'm legal. It's under 4 inches," and that's all you see. Like, there's no anything, and then he's just like, "Okay," and they're done.
No, wait, no, the cop made a joke. He made a joke. He said something like, keep telling yourself that or something like that. He makes a joke.
I don't remember the joke.
We were already laughing because we already thought of jokes to say, but the cop said a joke when he said that, and I can't remember what.
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. It was just he said a joke. I don't know. I'm just telling
Thanks
you.
for that color commentary.
I'm telling you, he said a fucking joke, dude.
Thanks for your one good thing on top of my one good thing. He said a joke.
He said a
not,
joke.
That's not my one good thing.
That's going to be Nathan's ending moment now. He said a joke.
I mean, we were going to kick him out anyways. That's your
Yeah.
one good thing. You're done.
All right, Nathan, what is your one good thing?
My one good thing is this is right after the jump scare that you talked about, Jared. It's when Don, he's like, okay guys, I'm gonna go walk to the next town or whatever, and he reaches up to the dashboard and grabs like a notebook or a planner or something, and immediately hits Carrie in the face. And you see Carrie like trying to not break character because it was not something that was planned.
Square in the nose.
Just square in the nose. And I made you rewind it so you could watch it because it was so fucking funny. That's one of the funniest things in the whole movie. It's so fucking good. Hits him in the nose and then just is like, okay, bye. And then you just watch Carrie struggle to keep his acting together.
Which
for some
very
reason
funny.
carried out throughout the rest of the movie.
Yeah, it really did. It really set the tone.
Yeah. Carrie really carried the film, if you could say.
Oh,
But
well, yeah. You know, I'm very surprised that none of us talked about the practical effects of cutting into Carrie's leg.
That's actually really great.
It's probably the best part of this movie.
Yeah, it absolutely is. It was gruesome to the point to where it like kind of makes you like
Cringe for sure, yeah.
So like that was actually really good. I mean, like because it was like in layers. It wasn't just like he just stuck his hand in the guy's leg. He reached into Carrie's leg and peeled off like a layer of muscle and skin, and then just starts digging in it. And you see him digging down around the bone,
And then pulling out a ligament.
yeah, and that was fucking awesome.
The part that got me was whenever he grabbed a tendon, which I think is
Yeah.
what you're referring to.
Yeah.
He grabbed the tendon and then slowly pulled it out.
Yeah.
And it's, I mean, if you've ever cut into anything with a tendon, I know it.
Okay, let's see where this goes.
It sounds really bad. Chicken tenders have tendons whenever you buy them from Tyson's at H-E-B. First of all, don't give me that face. But it was that because it was this hand covered in blood, like you said, digging through muscle. You could see layers of skin, grabbing a tendon around a bone and pulling it out. The thought that went into that makes me wonder how much they actually studied a leg.
A lot.
Like,
because they went through the skin, they went through the muscle, there were blood vessels, there were capillaries, and then it was just grabbing a tendon and pulling it out towards the knee, which is very anatomically correct.
Well, we do know that they have access to at least one medical textbook.
Yeah.
This is true.
So the one thing that I know about like special effects artists and stuff is if they're going to do something that is relating to like muscles and the human body, they're going to know what they're building. They're going to build it in layers. They're going to know what it looks like. They're going to know how it functions. If they're actually good, if they're professionals, they'll know all that stuff.
Thank you, Leonardo da Vinci.
Yeah.
Cutting people open in the 1500s.
Vivisection.
That's not creepy at all.
No.
I love it.
He created a helicopter. He designed a helicopter. He never built it.
So apparently this is going to be the Leonardo da Vinci podcast from now
Art.
on. Okay.
Well, it makes
Wait.
sense that we would bring up Leonardo da Vinci when we're talking about this movie that is filled with art.
Okay, you said art, but all I heard was art, and I thought you barked.
I did.
He did.
I'm like a weak DMX.
Oh,
Art.
That's terrible.
just this is why you're gone.
All right, Nathan, let's go ahead and get into the kill breakdown. How many did we have total?
We had 10.
Which is pretty good for us.
It's a third of last time.
It is
Yeah.
a third of the last movie.
I mean, I don't think we're ever going to hit last movie's
I mean,
numbers
Because it
anymore.
really was like 40 plus.
30.
Well, it was 30 that I wrote down, but I lumped groups together. So, yeah. It was probably closer to 40. Number 1 is Tony got her throat cut by Wish Bryan Cranston and turned into a scarecrow.
Fucking wish Bryan Cranston for sure.
Number 2 is Haley gets taxidermied. Number 3 is Emily gets taxidermied. Number 4 is Blake gets taxidermied with 4 arms.
Yeah, where did the other arms come from?
I don't know. They don't see any other. You don't see any like bodies without arms. It's just they brought them from home.
Also, which one was Emily? Was that boobs?
That was boobs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Boobs was Emily because when she died, I happened to have IMDb open and I looked down and she was right there and I was like, oh yeah, boobs. Let's see. Number 5 is Ray gets hugged.
But it's so real.
Yeah.
They're like, don't damage the body or whatever. But like Ray got hugged to death.
He got hugged to death.
After we already thought that he was dead in the shitter. Anyway,
Perimortem bruising.
yeah, Dee Dee gets taxidermied. Big beard security guy gets neck broken by Big Papa Don. That's what I named stepdad. Don.
Which is weird.
What are you doing, stepdad?
You're knocking me in the corn crib.
Like, I mean, I do think we need to appreciate that this could have turned corn porn real quick, and it didn't, so thank you.
Just before I continue, I was really surprised by the lack of like horniness in this movie.
Well, there was a little bit, but there was a lack.
Yeah.
Whenever you're talking about like campy horror movies, like low budget, they're usually pretty aggressive with
I
the
mean,
smut.
there's at least a left boob.
Yeah, there's at least a left boob.
And mention of a dick pic.
Mention
Yes,
of a dick pic.
from a month ago.
Yeah.
All right, and number 8 is Mildred gets stabbed by Mr. Doctor, or as I pointed out to Hannah, murder.
Marr.
No.
MRDR, murder. Like I sounded it out in my head, and I was like, "Oh my god, this Mr. Doctor, his name is Murder." Number 9 is Mothra murdered by Tia to steal her costume. And then number 10 is Don gets shot by Tia. And then we don't see any more deaths after that.
There's some that could be implied,
They
but
are
not
implied.
Yeah, we don't necessarily know for sure if they died or not.
Yeah, because we don't know if Murder dies. Or Mr. Doctor.
Mr. Doctor, yeah.
Mr. Doctor. You don't know if
Wish
he
Bryan
dies.
Cranston.
Wish Bryan Cranston.
Okay, but Otis was in a burning house and
Yes.
did not leave.
No, but at the end we
No.
heard him say his
Yeah.
own name.
Yeah,
At the
end
very
of
end
the
of the
movie, he is clearly still alive. It's like a Michael Myers situation going on.
Shows how done I was with this movie.
Because Jared even called it out. He goes, "Oh, looks like we're getting a sequel. Corn 2.
I honestly,
Creamed corn."
oh my god! Do you think the third one is gonna be when he marries a stripper and it's gonna be called candy corn?
Ooh,
It might,
yes.
yeah.
Yes, it needs to.
Candy corn on the pull.
Nice. That's very good.
Candy corn, room of screams.
Bowl of grease.
Oh.
Sorry.
All right,
is that too far?
So we obviously do have a few others that were, like we said, implied deaths, but not confirmed. So we can't really necessarily add those to the list.
Yeah, because there's multiple times where I would write somebody's name down and then wait to see their death.
Yeah, because sometimes you just can't make assumptions, I guess.
Because then you
never know who's going to come back to life.
Yeah, and then you make an ass out of you and me.
Yeah. All right, some of the ridiculous moments in this movie, there are a lot of them that I can think of. But the first one that comes to mind is whenever Dee Dee and Tia are trying to hide from the people that are searching for them in the pool area.
Above-ground pool.
Yeah, the above-ground pool.
Yes.
So they get into the pool and go underwater, which is clear. And the dudes can't see them until Dee Dee pops up out of the water.
No, but immediately following that, one of the guards lifts up Tia's red sequin dress.
No. Before he does that, he is just like jabbing at the pool with a pitchfork.
Yes,
Like
that's
he
right.
can't see anybody in there. There is a light directly shining into this pool, and he's just jabbing into this pool like a foot away from where Tia is, and then just picks up a dress and is like, "Oh, I got her," and that's it.
There's no blood in the water, but I stabbed her.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh shit, it's Alex Mack." Thanks. That's a
What?
real deep Nickelodeon cut. Alex Mack was a girl who could turn into water. Anyway.
I'm too young for this.
Anyway, but
What's up, millennials?
yeah. But then immediately after that, she just pops up on the other side of the pool. And now she's wearing like a tank top and like
And
jean shorts.
Yeah.
It was like, hold on, you wore this like sequin dress to go to this like Halloween party, and then you're just gonna be wearing some jorts underneath and a and a tank top.
Like the weird thing is though, is that they have multiple outfit changes and they didn't have any outfits with them.
Like we don't know where they were traveling from.
And nor do we know where they were traveling to, really.
Also, why would they both have swimsuits when they are going to their stepdad's work meeting the day before Halloween?
Don't know.
In the Midwest.
Don't know.
It's not like it's hot in the Midwest during Halloween. It's not Houston. I mean,
That's
it
fair.
makes no sense.
That's
Mr.
fair.
Midwestern over here. What is it during Halloween in the Midwest in a cornfield?
Cold.
Thank you.
It's cold. It's cold.
Would you pack a bikini to go on your stepdad's work trip?
No.
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 Thank you.
because
Where did that come from?
I don't look good in a bikini. First of all,
Well, have you tried?
yes.
Oh, okay then.
You don't know me.
Is that where mine went?
Yes. No. Do it real fast. Because we brought up Halloween, we didn't know that it was Halloween time until they told us. Like until they were like,
Yeah.
it's Halloween tomorrow. And it was
I
like,
mean, we kind of got implication whenever they were going to like the cornfield and everybody was dressed up.
I mean,
and
the movie started with a Halloween corn maze and there's scarecrows everywhere. That kind of implicates that
No,
it's
but
fall.
but they could do that any time of the year.
Oh, hey, it's March. Here's a scarecrow and a corn maze.
Well, no, there's no corn in March.
That's my point.
But their corn is there like a lot of the year. I'm just saying.
I mean, the thing is we're not told that it's Halloween time until like later on in the movie.
But what I wanted to bring up though is that they suddenly say that it's Halloween time, but this is after Tia already tells, what's her brother's name, Carrie, that she's like, well, you know, you're gonna move away to college in a month. What weird school schedule is this?
I don't know. Maybe he's taking an 8-week class before he gets into his actual semester.
A Minimaster.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird. It's just weird to me. That was just a weird thing.
Because don't they start in like December?
Yeah.
Sometimes
so
in
it
the
could
summer.
be around that time frame.
It's a Minimaster at Our Lady of the Corn.
Very nice.
There's definitely a moment where Mr. Doctor is
Murder.
talking to one of the guys that was supposed to go and get Carrie. And Carrie like cuts his ear.
And he goes, he had a knife.
And Mr. Doctor goes, I have a finger.
And he sticks his finger in his ear.
It's like the weirdest dad move ever.
It was such a weird fucking flex.
Okay, but we all died when that happened. Like, not in a weird taxidermy way.
But what's hilarious to me is that this is the payoff for the moment at the beginning of the movie with Chekhov's knife when Carrie pulls out the knife and he like opens it and it's like waving it around and doing stabbing motions in the front seat of the fucking car while they're driving down a highway. And stepdad Don looks at him and he goes, oh, that looks sharp. And he goes, oh yeah, it was my dad's. He said that it's sharp enough to cut off a bear's paw.
It's very weird.
And it didn't even cut off a hillbilly's ear.
It didn't cut off a hillbilly's ear. It just like took some skin off.
Yeah.
Okay, but can we talk about the fact that they were in the outhouse? Okay, let's
back explain the outhouse real quick.
Because this is a good moment.
So Tia sees his house and she's like, oh, there's an outhouse. I have to shit. So she pulls up her dress, which there were no denim shorts under, because she pulls up her dress and all you see is bare thigh. And then she falls through and we're like, oh, she's in shit. Nope, she's in bodies that aren't dead.
Yeah, because she doesn't.
They're still alive.
She didn't pull shorts down. She just lifted up her dress and sat down.
Yeah.
So when she pulled off the dress in the pool, she had shorts on.
Magic.
So anyways.
She's a witch. Burn her.
I mean, I've been listening to a lot of podcasts about Salem and that just hit home for me. So anyways, the point that I'm getting to is Otis, the 7-foot tall homage to Ed Kemper in this movie, walks out, completely obliterates the outhouse. And like 20 minutes later, after the finger and the cut ear, you just see Simon crawl out from under it like a grub. And he's just like, meh, it's dark. I can come out now.
Yeah.
And then that's it.
Because he does just like pick up. First he rips the door off of the outhouse. And then he pushes it over.
Otis does.
Yeah, Otis does. And you can see it like from the camera angle because you're on the opposite side of the outhouse, and he pushes it over and it's empty. And then this dude just comes scrabbling out from under the wreckage like a fucking rat.
But it's also like in the beginning of the movie when Carrie and Tia walk up to this house and Simon just comes around the corner and he's like, hey, with his hood on, looking like Mikey Way from My Chemical Romance back in the day.
He did walk up and he goes, hey, what you doing here in these waters?
But I have to say I called it because I was like, what's up, Ed Cullen? And everybody called him Edward for the rest of the movie.
Everybody called him Edward.
They called him Edward. They said he had the vampire boy. There was a joke about him wondering if his skin sparkles.
Yeah. There were a lot of Edward Cullen jokes in this movie.
But there were also a lot of mysteries because we never found out if his skin sparkled. We never saw him in the true daylight.
I like to believe it does.
I like to believe that he does have some sort of disease where his skin can't regenerate after suffering UV damage.
We know that he has some kind of disease because
well,
he can't go in the
that's a
sunlight.
thing. And they talked. Remember when they were eating eggs? They talked about that.
Yeah, it's sun poisoning.
No, it's literally like there's a disease where your skin cells can't regenerate from getting UV damage. Dean Koontz wrote a series of books about them, and that's how I know about it.
I hate you so much.
But it's a real thing. Dean Koontz is a learned man.
He is a learned man indeed.
Oh, can we talk about how many times they said learned in this movie?
It was surprisingly a lot.
Like 10 or 15 times. We are a learned family of taxidermologists.
But I want to go back to the outhouse scene, though, because you skipped over a very vital part of this moment.
What, the
But
fact
she-
that the outhouse was half an hour in this movie?
No, not necessarily that, but what we're getting into is after they pull Ray out of the outhouse
That we thought was
Dee Dee-
dead.
Using a piece of string.
yes, Dee Dee and Tia are still down there, and Otis straight up pees on him.
Oh, but this is after Dee Dee was like, I need a shower. And like 2 minutes later, he pees on them. I'm like, there's your shower,
There's your
bitch.
shower.
But that's a hilarious moment, and like if these characters are as evil as you think they would be, that they would be laughing, but they're just like, cool.
I'm gonna do this thing, I guess.
he's like, I guess I gotta pee now.
And they just stood under it.
Yeah,
And that
and just
outhouse,
accepted their fate.
it's wide open. Like if they just look up, they
And
can see.
bright as hell in the
Yes.
middle of the night.
Okay, first of all, if somebody's peeing on you, close your mouth
But
and
they
your
can,
eyes.
But they can see what's happening. They are looking up. They see freaking wannabe Ed Kemper up here with his dick out. And they're just like, we're just going to stand here with our mouths open and just take it. What kind of weird kink do you have?
Oh, I mean, R.
I mean,
Kelly.
I'm not.
I mean, let's not yuck anybody's yum.
No,
Well, I mean,
I'm
well,
not at all. But
There's one person's yum that we can yuck, and his name is R. Kelly.
That's true.
there you go.
It's just very, very weird in that moment. Like, I don't understand.
It's yucky.
Yeah, like I want to meet the person who wrote that. Like, where was their mind at in that moment?
What if the guy that was playing Otis was just method acting and he just walked out and actually pissed on them, and they were like, "Fuck,
So
that's
surprised.
good," because that's why nobody else reacted because they're all going, "This isn't in the script.
This is not
This
what's
is
supposed
not
to
a part
happen
of the
right
script."
now.
And he's peeing on them, and they're like,
Why does this water
oh,
smell
no."
weird?
They're looking up at him and they're like, "Oh no, why did they let him do this?"
Why does he not know we're down here?
Oh, he definitely knew they were down. Actually, you never get a shot from above down into the no, you do at one point. It's when Simon first finds Tia down there. That's the only time you get a shot from above. It's always like you get a shot up like up in the outhouse area or like above the hole, and then you get a shot down in the hole. But you never get a shot, like you only get the one shot where somebody is above and you're looking down into it. I just thought of that now. I don't have a joke for it.
Yeah.
That's rare.
Thanks. Medium rare. That was a joke.
Oh, was it?
That's a joke. Wait, okay, sorry. Speaking of jokes, and then it made me come back to the cop. There was this moment when they walk up and Simon and the cop are all like buddy, but like kind of in like a flirty lover way.
Yeah, almost.
And then the cop, as he's leaving, is like, "Hey, if you need any help with that little hottie, let me know." And he's like, "Whatever, shut up." But like, this is a thing that never was come back to.
No.
It meant nothing. It had no ties to the rest of the story, but it was just another moment for Carrie to distrust Simon, who he just like kind of hits and pushes around, but then he like relies on him, and he's like, "No, we're buddies."
It's very strange. That relationship is very strange.
But they're distant cousins.
That's what he's telling everybody. They're not.
No, I know.
But yeah, and another thing that was brought up is when at the end when Tia and Simon are sitting under that table with like the curtains over it.
Yeah.
And they're watching Otis cut into Carrie's leg, and he goes, "I'm not here for." She's like, "Whose side are you on? Are you with them or with us?" And he goes, "I'm with myself. I'm here for revenge."
Yeah.
This never paid off.
No.
It never was come back to, and it was never explained. It's like season 7 of Lost.
Wait.
It is most definitely like season 7 of Lost.
Wait. What if Simon and Beatrice are siblings and he ran away? No, nobody's catching on.
No, because they would have come back to that. But there was also a weird. They would have said something about that when Mr. Doctor was around him, because he acted like he had never seen him before.
Maybe he was like the prodigal son and he didn't want anything to do with
him. The prodigal son
him.
was Don, because Don called him Dad.
Yeah, he did.
Okay, but that made no sense to me.
No.
A lot of this doesn't make sense.
The whole movie pretty much doesn't make sense.
Okay, but another thing that doesn't make sense is the fact that Otis like pulled out this little saw without a blade and then cut Carrie's leg apart without a blade.
I think that was purely for safety protocols on the film.
But they made a point to show it.
No, they did. I know.
But that was also at the same time that Tia is hiding underneath the window to where like Otis looked at her and a dude was like, "Yo, is anybody in here that shouldn't be in here?" And is shining his light everywhere.
Like,
and Otis looks
that?
at her and then walks away.
Yeah, he did like look right at her.
And he's like, "So I'm looking at you that shouldn't be in here, and I got a saw that doesn't have a blade in it, but I'm just going to go cut your brother's leg wide open and not tell anybody that you're in here."
It's like it was just one of the weirdest scenes.
And then Simon comes out of nowhere. How did he get in that room?
I don't know.
Yeah, no, because she crawls under there and doesn't see him. This is like a 4 foot wide, like 3 foot high, 4 foot wide,
like a workbench.
like a workbench.
Yes,
And
with a
gets-
curtain.
With a curtain, she goes under there, and then he's just there already.
And he's like, "Shh, don't say anything."
But they're whispering, but they're enunciating a lot.
Yeah.
And that was very funny. He's like, "Shh, don't say anything. Cause a distraction, and then I'll save your brother."
I found all of these pencils in your car.
Yeah.
Throw them.
What the fuck was that? Yeah, I found all of this stuff from you in your car. Like, also, that's weird that he's just like, "I'm gonna dig through all your shit."
But it was clearly stuff that they had previously purchased at like an art supply store. It was like, "Oh, here's a pack of pencils. Here's,
here's a roll of tape."
Yes. And he's just like, "Cause a distraction." And then Don's like, "Aha!"
Yeah, Don, like all led up, and it was like, okay, cool. Like I had this moment where I was like, okay, this is gonna be a cool scene where they have to fight Otis and then kill him, and then they just end up having to fight Don, but then Tia shoots Don. It's like they ruined what could have been a really cool scene, like a cool fight scene. They ruined it completely.
Also, I feel like they watched House of a Thousand Corpses drunk and were like, "Hey, we can do this, but better." And didn't.
No.
Nobody can do it better.
No, because, okay, Otis is in House of a Thousand Corpses, and then they turn Dwight into a manfish.
Yes.
Human taxidermy. Spinoff.
Interesting theory.
I'm going with it.
No, it's been a while since we've had a theory on the show.
Ha ha!
Okay, can we real fast? Can we talk about how they can't decide if it's daytime or nighttime throughout the entire movie?
The entire movie.
The entire movie.
Like, we cannot tell you if it's multiple days, if it's one day, and
I
just
think it's
terrible
supposed to be 2
shots.
days.
I don't know.
Okay, so I think it was supposed to be they drove in to the middle of nowhere and like the in between cornfields, and then there was overnight, and then they went the day with Simon, whatever, and then the following night was this horror party of fake mannequins and a 90-minute taxidermy contest.
Well, let's think about this logically. Okay, so we have one moment where, whenever they first come in and they stay the first night, right? And then they come back and they have the second night where Tia wakes up in Simon's bed.
No.
Okay, because it's unclear of whether or not they slept through the night in the car. It's just that they slept in the car, but it's really unclear if they slept through the night.
Yeah.
Well, Carrie gets up and he's like, I'm not spending another night in a car. And she was like, you've stayed in a car before? And they leave it there. So I think they took a nap and then they get out and walk away.
But when they get to that point, it's like nighttime. And then it's like suddenly daytime when he's like, I'm not spending another night in a car. You slept in a car before? I'm not talking about that. But there's a lot you don't know about me or something. And it's just, there is no actual timeline for this movie because there's no real like passing of days.
And then like they're in the corn maze and Tia falls asleep and it looks like daytime. And then she wakes up and then she sees Otis dragging, what's her name, away?
Haley.
And then it goes back to nighttime. And then just freeze frame into Simon's house.
Oh, yeah. That's another thing. She sees him dragging Haley away and then is like, it just like completely fucking forgets about it.
No, she wakes up and she's like, oh, I had the weirdest dream last night. And that's where they drop it. So she saw him dragging Haley away and was like, oh, that was a weird dream. And
because there was never a point when any of the main characters went, there's something wrong with this area, with this place.
Yeah.
Like, and we should figure it out. There was never that moment.
It was, hey, have you seen Haley? Whatever, it's Halloween. That was it.
Like, there's definitely a point where Carrie is inside the house where all the taxidermied people are and sees Haley and like goes up to her and is trying to flirt with her when
like,
she is clearly not breathing, not moving.
Like she has a conversation.
Yeah.
She clearly has like a line across her throat and across her wrists.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay.
Get a fucking clue, dude.
Also, one thing I learned about this from this movie is that if you're doing taxidermy, you need a lot of straw to dry up the specimen.
Yeah. Also, that little mechanical thing that they put on your spine so that you're paralyzed but still alive.
Yeah, that doesn't really like go on your spine. It just looks like a fucking like. It's like a metal plate with like 3 metal.
It's
legs.
like a huge fucking metal hair clip.
Yeah, and it just like stick it on your spine.
Yeah.
Like a bear
But
trap?
if you take it off, you're fine again.
Yeah, but that's the thing is that when you see it, they're not like squeezing it. It's just like they stab it into you.
Yeah.
No. Because he had something in his hand and then released the trigger and then it closed. It's like a bear trap.
Oh, okay. I had no idea. There's a lot of things about this movie that I was so distracted by.
It's like a bear trap. If you put pressure on the middle hinge, it closes around you like a hair clip.
Then why are you making house hands?
Because that's what it does.
It closes.
You put it and it does this.
House hand. Oh.
That's what it was. He had pressure on the middle trigger, let it go, and it closed around their spine. It was a bear trap.
Yeah, something along those lines.
I just want to see mommy.
Oh my god!
He
can
keeps
we
us
talk
in separate
about
rooms.
How weird that was.
Very weird.
When they revealed the mom and she's taxidermied and the little girl is just like, you realize that she's just been living with her mom being taxidermied this whole time, but she talks to her like she's a real person.
And then she pulls the actual actress over.
Yeah.
And she has to be stiff.
Yes.
That was my favorite part of the whole movie. And she's like, Mommy. Boom. And then they go to her and her neck is all broken and out of place. And the dad is like, I can fix this. Bury her in the woods.
Also, the dad is Mr. Doctor.
Yeah. Surprise.
Yeah. I didn't call. I that was definitely a thing I didn't call. The thing that Hannah called, or like almost immediately in the beginning of the movie, is, "Hey, do you think Donna's with these other people?"
Yeah,
No.
because he just disappears.
I didn't even say that. I was just like, oh, Don's definitely involved.
Yeah.
And let's talk about that for a minute, because the weird thing is like whenever he's with Carrie, like he definitely kills a dude.
Yeah,
he breaks his neck.
Yeah, he kills Big Beard security guy.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden you find out that Don is with them. So like maybe he just had a grudge against this guy or something. Who fucking knows?
Like
Yeah.
it's like he's trying to. Well, I think in his brain he's going, security people are expendable, but I can definitely like I can gaslight this kid for a little bit longer.
But I feel like Bearded Man was a decent specimen. So he's like, hey, I'm going to kill this guy. He's decent looking. Done.
Is that your new movie crush?
No.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you don't even see him. But he was decent enough to be a specimen.
He was a beefy boy.
So I feel like they just dragged him off as soon as Carrie was like, I can't look. And that was it.
Speaking of specimens. So when Dee Dee and Ray are presented as Mildred's pieces and Tia is caught in the room and poses as a specimen
And cries.
and then
she's
people
holding
are
her
like,
eyes open.
yeah, and people
Yeah.
are like, oh, these tears are so real. And then one guy's like, oh no, the eye's just leaking.
Yeah.
Okay, if her eye was leaking, somebody didn't use enough fucking straw.
It was a 90-minute competition. You can't just shove straw in somebody's tear ducts. If you are in a hurry.
You're supposed to be using enough straw. It soaks up all the moisture.
If you're in a hurry. In a barn.
I don't know.
You don't think about the tear ducts. You think about the blood vessels, my dude.
Oh yeah,
It's a fair point.
You gotta put all that straw up the blood vessels.
Like this movie's just so weird.
And the anus to plug the poop chutes.
Yeah, this movie tries really hard to explain things that are not necessary for the story of like that they're trying to tell.
Like the three girls giving their eyes. Like,
Yeah.
Nobody ever comes back to that. They're just like, thank you to whatever he called them. And he was like, for the donation that can never be matched. Thank you for giving me your 3 eyes. Where 3? There were 4 specimens. Where did they put 3 eyes?
I don't know.
3.
You never saw just eyes anywhere.
No, you don't.
And it's like, I don't understand where this is going.
And that makeup was awful.
Because it
wasn't that great.
I don't think that it was meant to look like they just didn't have eyes. I think it was meant to look like they like taxidermied their own eye area.
No. That was their donation because other people gave them monetary donations. The group of the 3 butterfly, whatever the hell.
The moth ladies.
Sure. Gave their eyeballs for the specimens. But all of the specimens that they showed in the movie had their own eyeballs.
Yes.
Because Mr. Doctor made a point and he was like, no, this area has the best eyeballs.
Which is so weird.
And he was like, they're clear. The eyeballs are the hardest to taxidermy because they go foggy or whatever the hell he said. And then these 3 girls just give up their eyeballs for what? Where are they?
For no reason. Yeah. Did somebody eat them
reason.
or something? I don't know. I have
Maybe.
no idea.
Beatrice. Beat. She's got a pink cheek.
She did have a pink cheek.
That's why she wasn't a good specimen. Her dad already told her.
Yeah. You're not worthy.
Yes. Okay.
I think all kids can relate to that.
Oh, Lord. So for those of you that don't know, Beatrice had a birthmark on her left cheek in like the shape of a triangle that made her not a worthy specimen like her mother that was killed and taxidermied.
But here's the thing is that the makeup they used to make that birthmark, It didn't look like a birthmark. It looked like a burn.
It was Benefit Gel Blush from Ulta.
I don't know what that means.
It just looked like she got slapped.
Yeah.
She got slapped.
But also, growing up in a family like that, I would feel like a birthmark would be my saving grace. For him to be like, hey,
Yeah.
you're not worthy to be killed, dried with straw, and
put on
taxidermied.
display.
Yeah, and put on display. I would be like, okay, sweet, I'm out.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Which she kind of did at the end. Like, she ran them over with that F-150 that also came out of nowhere.
Yeah. Completely out
Again.
of nowhere.
Yeah, because that was definitely the truck from the corn maze night that
Yeah.
got, but also like, oh no, you know what? That is actual continuity. Is that the leg that got jacked up on Carrie was his left leg, and he would be able to drive with his right.
Yeah.
That's weird. They did something right.
They did something right.
It's like the end of The Princess Bride when it's like, Fezzik, you did something right.
As you wish.
All right, what about that time whenever they're at the pool at Dee Dee's house, I guess, but it's not a pool, it's like
a
a big
pond.
And Ray, okay, so Dee Dee and Carrie are kind of flirting a little bit, and then Ray just comes over, slaps and grabs Dee Dee's ass, and is like, "This is mine," like looking directly at Carrie.
No.
He goes, "This is mine, bitch."
No,
Yeah.
but y'all are missing the fact that Ray, not Ray, who's his friend?
I don't know what his
Blake.
friend's name
It's
is.
Blake.
Blake, yeah. I
Blake.
think that might
Okay,
be
so
it.
Blake walks up behind Dee Dee and shoves her under the water after
Yeah.
Dee Dee's made it clear that she cannot hold her breath. And so Carrie just goes over and pulls her up to help her. And that's when Ray comes over and he's like, "Why are you flirting with my girl? This is mine, bitch."
Also, this pond is like mid-thigh deep.
Yeah.
And
It's-
muddy.
It's not even 3 feet deep, and she's drowning in it.
Hey, what about that moment that we paused in the middle of the movie and I thought we were 10 minutes away from being done because it was taking so long
And it
to
was
get
halfway.
through it?
So this movie is what, 103 minutes long?
Yes.
103 minutes, I think, is accurate. And it does not seem like, it seems like it's twice that long.
Okay, I know we talked about this in the last movie, Lamageddon, because that was 69 minutes long.
Nice.
Yes. This was, like you said, 103 minutes, which is an hour and 43 minutes. And we talked about that going in. I was like, oh, it's kind of a long movie, whatever. It felt like half a day
Yeah.
getting through this movie.
Yeah, it definitely felt like it was like a handful of hours and very uncomfortable.
Like, and the reason behind that is because it has like this very weird back and forth where Carrie's in the house and then he's out of the house. But when he's out of the house, Tia's in the house. And whenever Carrie's in the house, Tia's out of the house. And it's like very fucking weird back and forth.
Day and night and day
Yeah.
and night and day and night.
Yeah.
How come it was daytime every time they were down in the shithole? It was
Except
daytime.
for once.
Except for once. But all the rest of the times, it was daytime.
It was like whenever she first fell in, it was pitch black.
And then she
And
left her
then-
phone.
Yeah. And then every other time after that, it was like, hey, let's get the brightest 4K we can find on set and just shine it down in this mud hole.
It's like those construction lights when people are working on like one tiny little patch of street
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
drive by it and it's like, oh my God, I can't see. Those are the lights.
Yeah. Those are like 4Ks. Like
Sorry.
so in films you have like 1Ks and 2Ks and 4Ks, and the 4Ks are like those big round lights. I know you're getting
Oh my God, you nerd.
Did we
I'm just saying.
both fall asleep just then? Who fell asleep? Raise your hand if you fell asleep.
I'm just saying. Whenever you see like the sun in a movie, it's typically a 4K.
Okay, thank
I'm
you.
just saying.
I mean, it could be the sun also, though.
It's typically not.
I mean, Jared,
Yeah.
I don't know how we would get through this without you.
You're welcome.
Yes,
Thank you.
Thank you for doing this with us.
The last thing that I want to talk about, And I don't know if you guys have any others, but this is probably one of my favorites. Whenever
What you got?
Otis is putting the gas on the house at the end of the movie, Otis is just like sloshing it around and is like just all getting all over him and stuff. Mr. Doctor looks at him, like touches his lab coat or whatever he has on and is like, "Did you get any petrol on the house?"
Okay, but that makes me think freaking Doug Wilson from Trading Spaces, who was a wannabe interior designer. And I'm like, that's where that guy's from. Suddenly has the worst French accent you've heard in your entire life.
I thought it was supposed to be German.
No. Now that I say that, it might have been. But it's the worst accent you've ever heard. And he goes from French, German, whatever, to English. Or
And
English,
back and
American.
forth. Yeah.
And then back to whatever that is, and then back to American, and that's it. He's done.
He was probably the highest paid actor on the set.
Probably.
He's very cocky. Okay, so rating?
Yeah, let's go ahead and get into the rating.
I want to rate.
Nathan, go ahead and rate this.
I want to rate first. I am.
Go ahead.
So this is the first time that we've watched a movie in a long time that I am not going to give a skull to, because I was having a very hard time staying awake in this, and I've given skulls to movies that I have fallen asleep watching, and this was just brutal. I would not watch it with anyone else. I don't want to put my friends through this.
See,
Lamageddon, I would. This, no.
That's kind of weird because you like to punish your friends for some reason.
Just you.
Fair.
Just you, baby.
Hannah, what about you? What's your rating for this masterpiece?
No skull.
No skull. Okay.
No skull. Like I said on the last episode, like Nathan, I like to make people suffer. Not this much. Like this is like an Iron Maiden suffering.
Yeah.
I can't. No.
Like, there's no joy in making someone else watch this.
No. It's too long. It's too much. It's the constant back and forth. And I mean, like we spoke to earlier, I thought we were almost done when we had another hour.
Yeah.
Like
It was literally another hour.
I can't. No.
Okay.
All right, Jared, what are you going to give it?
I'm right on the same page with you. I'm not giving this movie a skull. It's pretty hard to watch. It's boring at moments. It's the whole back and forth thing between day and night and between in and out of the house is just very weird. There are a couple things that I do want to show people,
Yeah.
but like I would fast forward through the whole movie and not make them wait through that whole thing.
Really,
Yeah.
you could just stop after Carrie gets hit in the face with a notebook and be like, all right, it doesn't get better than this.
I was going to say that.
But it does get better than that, though.
It does it?
Yeah, it does. Like, you have certain moments that are legitimately funny. I don't know that they were meant to be funny, but they're legitimately funny.
And then you have like the leg scene.
Yeah. And I mean,
yeah, the leg scene is pretty good.
I feel like
Yeah.
that was the best moment.
Yeah.
which is weird because nobody used that as their one good
Well,
thing.
you brought it up. It's a collective best
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah, it's a
We all
collective best
voted.
moment.
We didn't include it, and we all voted.
All right, so this movie gets no skulls. It's not great.
Boo!
There's a couple things, but not enough to make me give this a skull.
No.
Thanks for listening, everybody. If you want to join in on the conversation, if you want to suggest movies for us in the future or anything like that, you can reach us on Twitter at Spoop Squad. You can reach us on Facebook at The Squad Podcast, and you can email us at Spoop Squad. And remember, everybody, everyone in the hot tub is dead.
God, Nathan.